Hi, my name is Angela Carlisle, and I'm creating a YouTube page to come out with what I'm going through, what I am experiencing currently where I'm living, and what I've been going through for the last probably almost 2 years now. I'm going to be very transparent. So I live at 14868 Norman's Case Circle, apartment 116 in Lutz, Florida. I've only lived here for about a month now, and it's a part of the Sage Complex apartment community owned by Greystar. And my reasoning for giving that information out is because I believe, and I know, because I am experiencing severe migraines, and my brain and my body are experiencing severe inflammation from devices that appear to be located in the apartment above me, which would be 216. The reason I say this is because I can feel the devices hitting my head. There must be some type of devices that sounds like it's in a case. It has a very high frequency. I feel like it's emitting some type of radiation from the way that it makes my head feel. It's often on me while I sleep. I can feel it on me. I've been sleeping with a EMF blanket, oftentimes covering my body or my head. When I sit on my couch, I can feel it. When I'm in my bathroom, showering, using the commode, getting ready, I also feel it. I feel it while I sit at the bar in my kitchen to eat or just sit there. Law enforcement obviously must be using these devices. They also have devices implanted on my car. So when they turn the devices on, I have severe migraines while I'm in my car. I often feel abdominal pains. It feels like my stomach is being twisted. I have pain in my ears. It affects I believe, the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So it affects your emotions, it affects your personality. They can control my heart. It affects my heart, which affects the breathing. It also makes me very weak. And I have a rare motor neuron disease called spinal muscular atrophy type 3. So every system in my body is already affected. It especially affects the neuromuscular system of my body. So my muscles aren't as strong. The other day, the device was on me for quite some time while I was sitting on my couch. And I got up to chop some vegetables and saute them. I was going to put a bottle of olive oil back in my pantry, and my left leg gave out on me and I fell backwards, severely hurting my pelvis, my back and ribs, and I hit the back of my head very hard off the floor as I can't catch myself. These people above me who have these devices on me would have known that I would have fallen too, because it must be some type of thermal imaging device. But I'm bringing it to YouTube to see if as many people who see this as possible can share this so that it gets to, hopefully, the Trump administration. I've emailed the Trump White House the other day. I've also contacted previously the FBI to have them. I know that I'm being investigated. Apparently, from what it appears, is they're trying to create me as a character that is a child predator. I have not been, will never be a child predator, but it's very apparent from all the manipulation and all the scenes that they set up. They've been trying to create this circus, create this character, have this character come to fruition for, I would say, the better part of 2 years now. I'm stalked by people. When I first came to Florida here, I stayed at Airbnbs. At some point here, I'm going to list the names and addresses of every Airbnb I stayed at, because my privacy has been invaded. Airbnb, I know, will do nothing about it. The very first Airbnb I stayed at, I reported the invasion of my privacy. They consider it a security issue, so they had me leave the premises and they put me into a hotel for, I believe, 3 days while they investigated the situation. The lead investigator on it was supposedly on vacation or off, so when they came back, they found that it was unfounded. They had me gather all my belongings up, so I loaded my car up. I put everything that I pretty much needed that I could fit into my car, I brought with me, and the rest of my things are in storage. So anyway, so that I found a new Airbnb to stay at. The rest of my time that I had already paid for, which was a month and probably 3 weeks, was stolen from me from Airbnb. They, I assume, gave it to the owner, so I was out that amount of money. I went to the next location, which was in Zephyr Hills, and of course was going through the same thing. Some of the devices that they're also using appear to look like originally a Samsung Galaxy phone. It'll just have a blank screen on it. Now it appears that they've switched to an iPhone. I've seen it personally from the last Airbnb that I stayed at, a guy who was, quote, a pest control person, sat the device on the kitchen counter, and I've seen several people with the device. It all has the same case. I have so much detail to go through. This is crazy what I'm experiencing. I believe my character is being assassinated. I know when I go to places, you can kind of tell how people treat you. They discriminate against me, that's for sure. I was discriminated against even trying to get into this apartment. The amount of work and effort I had to go through. And then even once I got into the apartment, it appears that like nobody knows how to reach out to help you when you've like called and left messages. So the leasing agent that I dealt with, her name is Lisa. She couldn't seem to give me a call back. I think one time she did. I had to keep calling in. Eventually I had to keep stopping in. And then one day I had already been in here for a few days and hadn't received my mailbox key because evidently they said they had to cut a new one. I went into the office and another one of the leasing agents, I'm not exactly sure what her name is, but I stood there for probably 20 minutes waiting for her to acknowledge me, and she ignored me the whole time. I believe it was the maintenance person walked by, didn't acknowledge me either, just ignored me. So when I finally said something to the leasing agent that was out there with another customer, she immediately snapped back in a rude tone and told me I would wait until she got finished. I waited probably another 10 minutes, and that's when I walked out, and I decided I was just going to go to the top. So I contacted Bob at the main office. I emailed him about what I felt was going on. His secretary emailed me back and told me an area manager would be in contact with me. I believe her name is Amy Sullivan. She did email me and got back in contact with me and let her know what was going on, how I felt that I was being discriminated against. I know that I am being investigated. The sheriff's department and the local police departments of whatever area I'm in, they all follow me around. I know when they're close by. I feel the devices. I have so much pressure in my head, and I have severe headaches. So I always know when a device is being turned on, so that they can, apparently grab data. But while they're grabbing data, they're harming me physically. It's become quite a bit of torture devices. I just want to put this out there. I'm going to come on here every day if I have to. I'll make a video vlog journaling everything that I'm experiencing every day. And I'm not afraid to call out the companies or people who mistreat me or want to discriminate against me. Companies that I've worked for have also used the devices. I worked for ASB Financial in the Villages when I first came down. The head manager there, his name was Jeff. And the reason why I believe the device was used on me there, because I felt it hitting the back of my head when I would get on to the internet. 3 of their employees, which was a husband, wife, and the wife's daughter, were in the offices behind me. They would knock on the desk when I would either get into my text messages or go to get online. I always know where people whistle. It's like so ridiculous, the stuff I'm going through, but so the device was used there. I ended up getting on what I thought was for my dream company. I was going to work for US Health Group selling health and life insurance. I was hired on at the St. Pete office, headed by Charlie Campbell's team, where these devices were being used on me. I have to say, I believe I'm sure to cover my tail, but I literally saw one of the managers, his name is John, carrying the device around. Another manager or training manager, her name is Andrea, she would have, of course, put it in place as well as Doug and Allison, that were also training managers. They were directly beside me. So the device, I believe, was placed right in the cubicle in front of me, where they put snacks and coffee so that people would come and stand there. The device was so strong that I didn't last there very long. My final day, I was so weak, I could barely make it to my car at lunchtime to eat my lunch. I was in shambles at that point. I was so upset. So I had called my sister to tell her what I was experiencing, had, of course, severe migraines. So I decided that day I wasn't going to go back. It was so bad that I felt like I was really close to having a stroke or a seizure. So I decided I was not going to be experiencing that. So I went up and gathered my belongings, and I left that day, and I never talked to another soul there again, because you don't treat somebody like that. And then they're trying to be nice to my face, but I could tell you, I was a hairstylist for 17 years. I'm really good at reading people. You can tell when people are fake. So many of their managers were involved in using this device on me. So I left, and they tried reaching out to me, and I refused to talk to any of their people. I left that job that day. I took some time because I wasn't sure what I was going to do next. So I started driving for Lyft. I've been a Lyft driver for probably 9 or 10 weeks. And Lyft, I'm going to call you out because I don't know if you know, I'm assuming you know that it appears that at least I'll say I believe that your system has been hacked. They put actors in my car that they're able to make sure that I pick up the person. It's put into my queue, and that person will retrieve data of some sort. I've had many instances where there's been what I believe are officers or agents in my vehicle to collect data. One day my radio quit completely working. I had to completely reboot it. And these people, they don't usually speak to you. They have a very signature energy that I can always usually tell. And I believe the hackers live in a community in Zephyr Hills. I dropped 2 individuals off at 2 different times. in this area, and I believe they are the hackers. They'd be working for law enforcement. So there's so much to tell of what I'm going through. My main thing is I wanted to get out to as many people as possible. I know that I'm a lion with really big balls. I'm pretty much fearless. And, you know, what can they do to me? What can they do but, try to take you out? They can take everything away from me. I'm not attached to any of my belongings. I'm fearless in this, that, I'm not afraid to lose anything. So I'm going to put this out. And like I say, I'm going to journal every day. I'm going to tell parts of what I've been going through, how it started. I'm going to give my recollection of what I've been going through and my side of the story, because nobody gets to create a character out of me. I know exactly who and what I am. So if law enforcement wants to continue their assassination attempt of, trying to ruin my character and try to create this character that they've developed, that character doesn't exist. And you show yourselves in every moment, especially the sheriff's department. I reached out to Governor DeSantis' office. I spoke with Caitlin. She transcribed everything that I had to say. She asked if I had communicated with the commissioner, Ken Hagan. So after I got off the phone with her, I called Ken Hagan's office and told his assistant or note taker what I've been through. I'm not sure that guy transcribed anything. It didn't appear that he was, so maybe he just recorded the phone call. But so I called the commissioner here in Hillsborough County. And, as I say, I've also contacted through email the Trump White House, because if there's anybody who understands the level of manipulation that goes on at these organizations, these law enforcement organizations, it would be President Trump. So I'll continue to come on here every day just to, tell what has gone on in my life and what I'm dealing with here. And, I want to make it very clear, those who truly know me, know my heart, and know that I'm not this character, and know that I would never be this character. So for those who, want to be part of the Sheep Clan and continue to help to, try to make this character come to fruition, good for you. You're creating such black magic, how can you say, for law enforcement to protect and serve, but yet you're harming individuals, and, Americans see it every day. It plays out. You're not necessarily in it for helping anybody, but yourselves, and you serve your egos. That's obviously, the basis of everything that you do it's very ego related. So that's my story for today. That's what I'm going to put out for today. Tomorrow I'll come back with some more information. Like I said, I will put these videos out every day if I have to get my story out there. If everybody could just share this so that it gets out to as many people as possible. There has to be more people in this country who are under surveillance from these law enforcement organizations. The justice system, there is no justice. I had called a lawyer's office to see if, what my rights are, what I could do. And you have to prove that you're being harmed to proceed with anything. I don't have insurance, so, I don't need to go to a doctor to verify what I'm going through. I know exactly what I'm feeling in my body. So if law enforcement wants to pay for a full body scan and they can put all their devices on me like they use them, then they can clearly see what's being done to me, and the harm that it's doing to my body. So that's all for today. I'll come back on tomorrow with what else I'm going through. So thank you.